everyone. Welcome to another Monday Night Live. Tonight we will be working from the January to June mini catalog, and we will be using the Kangaroo and Company bundle. So let's see if we can get this to pop up. With the notification. There, nope, that's not what I want. Facebook must have changed things again. All right. Really. All right, let's see. I might have to switch. There we go. All right. June mini catalog. I think we've got it. All right. Hello, Laura. Hello, Lynette. Hello, Jennifer. Thank you for sharing, Jennifer. Hello, Sharon. All right. So, the Kangaroo and Company bundle can be found on page, let's see. Well, why am I having such a hard time finding it? There it is right there. On page 75, you can find the bundle price. So the stamp set and the dies together are $36.75. And this catalog is good through the end of June. But come the 1st of June, these items will go on the last chance list. And then once they're gone, once the dies are gone, the bundle will be gone. So something to think about. We're going to be using a little bit of some retiring annual catalog product along with the Kangaroo and Company. And we'll be making 2 projects tonight. Both of them are fancy folds. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Because they're a little bit involved, I've done quite a bit of the stamping and coloring because there's a lot of coloring. So we're going to start with a piece of soft seafoam, and this is a 1/4 sheet of cardstock. Okay. And the first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp in Evening Evergreen. I'm going to put my hand stamped on here. It's easier to do it now. Sorry, I should have done that ahead of time. But at least I remembered now, because if you're going to do that, you need to do it early. So we're going to put a lot of stuff on here. Okay, so we have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 sheet of soft seafoam. And then we have a piece of the new soft succulent from the new annual catalog in colors, the 2021 to 2023 in colors. This is cut at 2 3/4 by 8 1/2. And then we have another piece of the soft succulent, which is cut at 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And this I have run through the Old World embossing paper folder. This is retiring, and when supplies are gone, it will no longer be available. Currently, it is on sale for $9. And this is what you get with that when you use it. I love this embossing folder. This is the 3D embossing folder. Then we need a piece of DSP, Designer Series paper, and this piece comes from the Pansy Petals, which is also a sneak peek from the 2021 to 2022 annual catalog. And this is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have some basic white. I have 2 pieces of basic white, which I have cut with, oh my goodness, it's been a little bit of a day. I've cut those out with the scalloped contour dies, and I used this 3rd largest die to do that. This is a fabulous new set that you'll be seeing a lot more of. Okay, so you need 2 of those. And then, okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to marry our Designer Series paper. And look at the back side of that, just so you know. It's absolutely gorgeous. And we are going to marry these up. Just like so. Just center that up, put that down. Then we're going to take our piece of soft succulent and we're going to grab our scoreboard, our Simply Scored tool. And we're going to score this on the 8 1/2 inch side at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. Okay. And we're finished with that, so we can put that away. Okay, then we're going to take this piece and we're going to burnish and fold on those score lines. I'm going to make sure that everything is even here. I'm going to score them both in the same direction. We are making a mini easel card. Okay, so this is going to go like this, and it's going to look like that. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take this piece of our Old World paper. We're going to add some liquid glue only to the bottom section. We're not going past the first score mark here. Get a little bit of glue on there. I don't want to get carried away, but I need enough. My glue bottle's getting a little low. All right, then I'm going to take this piece. I'm going to decide which side I want. I want this flatter side, the debossed side. And I'm just going to glue those together, making sure that all of my sides are even. Okay, I'm going to give that a good press. All right. So now we have the makings of our easel right there. Can you see that? Okay. So we can go ahead and add that to our card base now. We're going to try and line this up right in the center. Okay. So I'm going to actually use my grid paper. And I'm going to count. Well, actually, let me go. This one doesn't have the centering ruler. Hang on, let me take my centering ruler here. Let's put this right. I should have 2 3/4 on each side for the center. Okay. So then if I'm going to stick 2 3/4 in the middle, I should be right at 1 1/2 from each edge. Okay, now if you don't care how precise you are, you don't need to go through all of that. If you use the regular Stampin' Up! Grid paper, it has a centering ruler at the top and you won't need an extra piece. But I didn't grab that basic grid paper, which would have been very, very helpful. And then I'm just going to put some liquid glue on the back of this, and I'm doing that so I have a little bit of room to slide it into place. Okay. So then I can just take and put this at the 1 1/2. Okay, I want 1 1/2. Okay. It's not looking quite right here. Okay, and then just make sure that you have it all even. I don't think I got that on there quite straight. Pretty sure I have more. 1 1/2. Yeah, I'm not quite in the center. Let me see if I can. Nope, that's not coming back up. It's just going to be. I'd have been better off with my other grid paper. All right, so I've got that down. And then I'm going to take one of my scallop contours, and I'm going to take a sentiment from another stamp set, and we're taking our sentiment Happy Mother's Day. So we're making a Mother's Day card for this one. We're going to take the Happy Mother's Day from Timeless Tulips. This particular stamp set is currently in the catalog as a bundle with the Tulip Builder Punch. These two items will be in the new catalog, in the new annual catalog next month. However, they will not be bundled together. So if you're interested in them and you wish to save 10%, now is the time to get them before they are no longer bundled. Okay, so we're going to take that Happy Mother's Day, which is right here, and we're going to get some Evening Evergreen. Oh my goodness, this is going to be one of those nights. Can you believe I put my Evening Evergreen in my... Oh my gosh, you don't even want to know where I had that. Okay, so I'm just going to center this up here. Okay. Then we need 2 more pieces of the Pansy Petals paper, and this is cut at 3/4 by 2 3/4, and this one is cut at 3/4 by 2. And I am going to see this. I'm going to have to trim down a bit, but before I trim it, I'm going to run it through the Banner Pick-a-Punch. And this gives me banner tails for 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 1 inch. So I'm just going to stick that in there with the 3/4 inch slot, make sure it's even, and put the banner on there. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and give this just a little bit of a trim. Okay, just going to trim that off a bit. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my 2-inch piece. Only this one I might need, yep, I'm going to need a little, I need a little help because it's not quite long enough. So I have a 3/4 of an inch piece of Post-it note, and I'm just going to stick this on my piece of DSP, and I'm going to slide that in and turn it over and make sure it's even, and it is. And then I'm going to give that a punch. And then I'm going to pull that out, and I have a nice banner end. All right. So these two pieces are going to go across here, and we're going to run that kind of like that. And I'm going to trim this one just a square. It's better to have it too long and be able to trim it than too short and not have enough. Okay. So now we're going to do just a little bit of stamping. I'm going to grab a scrap piece of basic white. Doesn't matter what size it is, so long as it's big enough for your, actually it doesn't even matter. You just have to have one big enough for your kangaroo, and then if you have other smaller pieces, that will hold your flowers and your other things. I'm going to use this piece because it will hold everything I need. So I need the kangaroo. All right. And I need the flowers. And I need the envelope. And I also need the sentiment that says, "Love you much." Okay. Now with the "Love you much" sentiment, I need to give myself a little bit of room because of how I need to cut this out. So I'm going to put this up here. All right. So I've got that. And then I need one more piece. I need my butterfly. Little teeny tiny butterfly. Okay, those are all my pieces. All right. So then I'm going to color those. And I've already colored them and cut them, so I'm just going to tell you what I used. I used the cinnamon cider for the kangaroo, and I also used petal pink and the light crumb cake that I mixed together for the chest of the kangaroo, and a little bit of petal pink in the ears. Okay, so I used those. I colored the flowers in light and dark pale papaya. Those are brand new in colors. The roses in the light and dark polished pink. And the leaves are colored with light and dark, soft, succulent. Okay, so that's those. And then I also colored the little butterfly with a little bit of dark pale papaya, and then I used some light pumpkin pie just to give it a couple of highlights. Okay. All right. So that's how I did the coloring. Now I am going to show you how the die needs to go on the Love You Much to make this work out. So when you finished coloring those, you would take those all and run them through your die cutting machine. So the Love You Much gets cut with this little die. And when you cut it, you need to keep this clear at the bottom. So you're going to line that up so that it's just to the right of the words, and so that you just barely have any of the curve at the bottom. Okay? If you don't do that, then it's not going to slip into your pocket quite right. All right. So let me show you what I mean. Let's start assembling. Bring in our pieces here. Okay, so we're going to take our Love You Much, and we're going to take our flowers, and we're going to add these here, like so. And this, then this piece, when you die cut the kangaroo, it die cuts the pocket, and so your little sentiment has to go into the pocket. And if you stamp it too high, then when you put your flowers on top, you won't be able to see your stamping. And ask me how I know this. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead, use just a little bit of liquid glue. And then I'm going to add these just like so. And I'm going to set that to dry for just a minute. Okay. And then, first of all, I'm going to put this. I'm going to add this to my card right here, like so. And I'm just going to put this on flat. And because I'm adding this to an embossing fold, an embossed piece, I'm going to go ahead and use some liquid glue, just so it can squish into those raised and lowered edges. Okay, so we've got that, and I'm going to give that a really good press so that will adhere. Okay, then I'm going to put these like so. Some of that's going to be covered up, and you're probably not even going to see the tails, the bannered ends of those. But we're going to put our little kangaroo on. We're to the left a little bit so we can stick her ear there on the Mother's Day. So let's go ahead and put our banner pieces down. I'm just going to stick that like so. And then I'll add this on. And I'm going to Just like that. And then we're going to take our kangaroo and we're going to add our flowers here, like so. Right, and then we're going to flip this over. So we want to make sure that we don't put any Stampin' Dimensionals on our sentiment piece, otherwise it won't be moving up and down. Okay, the other thing that I need to do is take note of where my kangaroo's tail is hanging off and not put any dimensionals past that. So we're going to put one there, put one up here on the head, and then we'll put another one. I'm going to line that up pretty straight right there. Okay. Then we can add our kangaroo to our focal image here. And then we're going to take a mini Stampin' Dimensional and we're going to stick it on our little butterfly. And add that over here by the flowers. Okay, so there's the front of our card. Now we're going to take that second scalloped contour and we're going to get a sentiment from another new sneak peek called Inspired Thoughts. And this will be coming out in the new annual catalog next month, and it is bundled with some inspired branches dies. So you'll be seeing more of that too. I believe I used the same stamp set last week. Anyway, we're going to put "It's your time to be remembered, to feel appreciated, and to know you're celebrated." And we're going to stamp that in Evening Evergreen. At the top. Okay. And then we're going to take our little envelope here. And we're going to flip that over. And we're going to add a Stampin' Dimensional. Actually, I might add two. Just because it's going to hold a bit of weight. Okay. And then we're going to take this. Oops, wait a minute. Oops, got too fast. We're going to take this. We're going to add it to the center of the inside of our card with some Stampin' Seal. And then we're going to take our little easel. We're going to decide where we want that to go. And then we're going to center our envelope up, give that a push. And now here's our card. So this is what the front of it looks like. And then you'll open it up. And you can write your little message there. And if that's not enough room, you could flip it over and write on the back. Okay? Your other option is that instead of using a 1/4 sheet of soft sea foam. You could actually use a card base cut at 5.5 by 8.5 and fold it in the middle, and then use it in the landscape mode so that you could have an additional opening. Okay, so there's the first card. And let's see. This is how I finished the envelope. You just put some little flowers in the bottom left corner and added a heart and the butterfly and the note. And those are all from the Kangaroo set. Okay. So there's our first project. I'm going to go ahead and leave this out for you to look at. I don't know if you can really get a good look at that. I'm going to do some cleanup while you're doing that. Oh, you know what I forgot to add? Hang on, you guys. I forgot a couple little details that you might want to put on there. I took the Resin Hearts embellishments and I used the dark polished pink. And I ooh, oh my goodness, colored with my Stampin' Blend. These are will be in the, these are in the mini catalog, so they'll be available through May. And once the, oh no, these are continuing into the catalog. Never mind. I think these are in the new catalog. All right, so we've got that done. I can't remember everything. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for just a minute to dry. And then I'm going to grab some basic pearls. I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool. And I am going to add some little pearls to the center of my pale papaya flowers. Just to give it a little something extra. Okay, then this one should be nice and dry. So we're going to take that. Oh, it looks like I lost my, yep. Okay. Let's see if I can get this to stick. I lost my glue dot. Let's see if I can put it back together. Okay. And that worked. Okay, so there is the finished card. All right, let me clean a couple of these stamps because we're going to use them again in different colors. And some of these I need to use the other side of. Okay, I think we're in pretty good shape here. All right, so let's move on to the next project. Okay, our next project is also a fine fold, and it features, of course, the Kangaroos, and this one takes a few more pieces. Okay. So again, we're going to start with a card base that is a 1/4 sheet of cardstock, and this time we're going to use it in the portrait mode. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. We have another piece of Night of Navy, and this one is cut at 4 1/4, I hope. Yes, 4 1/4 by 9 3/4. Let me get my cheat sheet. Okay, so let's just grab this and get this done. We're going to take this and we're going to pull out our Simply Score It again. And we're going to score this piece on the 9 3/4 inch side at 3 1/4 and 6 1/2. Okay, so basically we are scoring it in thirds. But with this one, we're going to make a Z fold. So we're going to fold this piece back and get our bone folder. And then we're going to fold this piece forward. Okay, and then that gives us our Z. All right, so I want to really burnish those well. Okay, so we've got those. Then we have some Designer Series paper. This piece is 4 by 5 1/4, and we're just going to add this to the front of our card. And I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal for that. Okay, center that up. All right, and this is one of those that if you're going to stamp something on the back for your hand-stamped message, it needs to be done now. So mine's already done. Okay, so once you get everything together, it's going to be pretty thick. Now we're going to take, and these 3 pieces of Designer Series paper, and by the way, this Designer Series paper comes from the Artistry Blooms, and once supplies are gone of this, it will not be available again. And I am not sure, I did not check to see if this had a sale price on it. Okay, so we are going to take one of these, and we're just going to add this to the front. And actually, if you lay this out flat and do all of these, then you'll be able to line them all up. Okay, so we've got that. Then for this center section here, we're going to take a piece that is 3 by 2, and I am going to grab my 2-inch circle punch, which is also on the retired list, and once supplies are gone, it's gone. It's on the last chance. Okay, so I'm just going to line this up, and I'm going to put a small little notch in it with my punch. Okay. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to stamp on it. And from the stamp set, A Grand Kid, I'm going to use the stamp, No Amount of Money Could Ever Show How Much I Love You. This is a really good set, and it's not necessarily for grandkids. There are only 2 sentiments in here that really say grandchildren. There's one for a grandson and one for a granddaughter. And the rest, oh, and then there's this best grandkid ever. Okay, so there's 3. The rest of these, of the 11, can be used for whoever. Some great little sentiments in there. So we're going to take the Night of Navy ink. And we are going to stamp this. And I'm going to just put this at the bottom. Okay. All right, I'm going to set that aside to dry for just a minute. And then on the other panel, we're going to put this piece of designer series paper. So we can go ahead and seal that down. And this is where I said it's better if you do this flat now, because then you can look to make sure that you're about even on top and bottom, so that it looks like you have a continuous line. So we have that. And then we're going to take this piece and we're going to use just a little bit of liquid glue. And we're only going to glue the sides and the bottom. And we're just going to run just a very thin line. Right along the edge. See how I did that? And then we're going to line this up with those other 2 pieces. Center it up. And press it down. Okay, so now we can add a gift card to the little pocket, which of course you'll let yours dry a lot longer. Get that a good burnish with my bone folder. Or you could stick some cash in there. Okay? So that's that part. Now we can go ahead, and then on the back, so we have this. Then to this side, we're going to open this up like so. And then we're going to add this piece, this last piece of designer series paper, right here to this section. Center that up. Okay, and then on this section, I've already taken that it's your time to be remembered, to feel appreciated, and to know celebrated. And I've stamped that and some balloons. And these balloons come from Zoo Globe. And this is on the retiring list. Okay. And I've stamped those and I've colored the balloons. And then I'm just going to add this right there. Okay. All right. So this is what we have so far. Okay. Then we can take this piece and we can add it to our card base. And you want to make sure that when you add it that it's opening this way. Okay. You don't want to flip it and add it this way. So make sure that you're opening it or that it opens the correct way when you go to put your snail on there. And I'm going to give this extra snail because it has so much weight. Okay, so I'm going to take that and I'm just going to center this up as best as I can, being very careful not to put it down until it's where I want it, because I have a lot. Okay, then I can take and open that up and give that a good burnish. All right, so there's where we're at so far. Thanks, guys. All right, appreciate that. I'm glad you're liking these. Okay, so for the front for decorating this, what we're going to do is I've taken some basic white and I've cut from the Hippo and Friends dies. Okay, this is another one of those bundles that is carrying, well, the pieces are carrying over, but they will not be included as a bundle, I believe. So if you want the bundle price, now's the time to get them. So this is the stamp set. And this is $1 million stamp set with Robin Carden, I mean. And these dies are fabulous. Okay, so you get all of those dies. There's 25 in total, and there are 3, 6, 10 frames, layering. Okay, so those are pretty nice. I love those, and I use them a lot. So I've cut the largest of the whatever this shape is. Cut 2 of them. Okay. So I've cut one for the front and one for the inside. And with the inside piece, I've already stamped and colored my little kangaroo. And I just need to stamp my saying. So I wanted to show you how I was going to do that, because the stamp that I'm using says just hopping by to say hi, but I don't want it to say hopping by just to say hi. I just want the hopping by just to say. So I'm going to go ahead and mask that up. I'm going to take a Post-it note and I'm going to place that along the sentiment. And then I'm going to get my Night of Navy ink. And I'm actually just going to go on the edge here. Okay. Of my ink pad. And I'm going to remove the sticky. And I'm going to center this up. And it's going to say hopping by just to say. And then I'm going to get the happy birthday. This comes again from the a grand kid set. It says happy birthday right there, which is really a nice happy birthday, especially if you're doing a masculine card. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that in Bermuda Bay. So that's one of the colors in the Designer Series paper. I'm going to ink that up. And then I'm going to stamp this down below the hopping by, just to say. Okay. So now this piece is ready to add to the inside of our card. And we're just going to go ahead and snail that down. Apparently I'm not rolling my wrist enough. Okay, so I'll snail that down. And put that down like so. Okay. Now all we have is the outside left to decorate. Okay. And for that, I've got this from the Hippo Happiness, and I'm going to take the grass, which also comes from the Kangaroo set, and I'm going to get Old Olive. I'm going to stamp a little bit of grass here and there at the bottom of this piece. Okay. So we're done with that. And then I pre-stamped and colored and cut a kangaroo and a package of the presents. I stamped and cut one of those little guys. And then we need a party hat, which I think we're going to use this one because I did multiples. Oh, because I was going to put a party hat on. That's why I needed so many. Now I remember why I cut them so many. Okay, so we have all of our pieces here. So we can go ahead and add this piece to the center of this. And we're going to do that with some Stampin' Seal. And I'm just going to place that in the center. Try and line that up. And then I'm going to take my, I stamped the It's Your Day this time. And I have the packages, and I'm going to take some liquid glue. And we're going to take our packages, set them down so that, oops, they're not covering our sentiment, but that so that this taller gift is standing straight up. Okay, and then we're going to set that aside to dry. Okay, then we're going to add some party hats to our kangaroos here. So I'm going to put just a drop of glue at the bottom of our party hat. Put that on the big kangaroo. And we're going to take this little Mango Melody and Bermuda Bay one. And let's see if we can put this on the baby kangaroo. Yep, we're going to put it right there on the baby kangaroo. Just like so. Okay. We're going to add this third little hat to the inside of our card here on our little baby kangaroo. Well, I guess it's not our baby kangaroo because this one's not in the pouch. We're just going to put that right there. All right, so that takes care of all of our party hats. Because we need to have a party. So then we're going to take and we'll put this into this slit of our kangaroo again. Just like so. Okay. I want to make sure that's good and dry. Slipping that in. All right, then we're going to, our little kangaroo is going to go here. We're going to put our little baby around here. So again, we're going to pay attention to where the tail is. And I want to move this over as far as I can. Okay, so I'm going to put some Stampin' Dimensionals there. Pay attention to that. And I'm going to get some of my edge pieces for his tail. And I'm going to put that right there. And again, we're flipping it over and we need to make sure that we don't put any dimensionals so that we seal down our interactive piece. So I'm going to put this, I want to put it so that it's, so that I have a flat side up next to that. There we go. All right. And that's probably enough for that. Then we're going to put a couple on our little kid here. All right. And then we can add these to our card. And I'm going to go ahead and lay my one down here so I know where to put this one. Okay. So I need to make sure that I have room for both of them. All right. Now it looks like the parent is getting ready to give the gifts to the little kid. So here we go. I'm going to put a little bit of Wink of Stella on the hat. Give it just a little bit of sparkle. I'm trying to keep in mind that this really is for a boy. More so, I guess. Although there are girls that love this color combination, so I guess it could be for them too. All right. So that is our card. Finished up. And for the envelope, what I've done is I'm just taking a regular envelope. Took another piece of that Designer Series paper. And for this one, I'm just going to put some liquid glue along the flap here. And then I'm going to place my piece of designer series paper and butt that up right next to the fold mark. Go ahead and fold that over and push that down flat. Give it a good press. Okay, and then I'm going to take my paper snips and just going to trim around the edges. Ah, thanks, Jennifer. I'm glad you liked that. Okay, so there's our matching envelope. All right, so let me get things out of the way. I'll bring back the first card that we did. And put this one out. And there you are. Those are our projects for tonight. I hope you liked those. Thanks, Lynette. Always looking for, I like fun fold cards. I don't do them often enough, but I just felt like tonight was a good night to work on those, and I really hadn't gotten to play with this Kangaroo set much. And I wanted to get that played with before it is no longer available. All right, so there you go. That shows the versatility of that stamp set. You can use it as Mother's Day. You can use it as birthday. It also has the hearts for Valentine's Day or an anniversary, because you could easily put hearts in the pocket there. All right. Thanks everybody for joining me. I appreciate it, and I will. Oh, just so you know, there will be no Monday Night Live next Monday. I have some appointments, some doctor's appointments in Salem that I couldn't get at a different time, so I'll be in Salem too late to be on the live. So hope everybody. Oh, hi Cynthia. So glad you could join us. So there will be no Monday Night Live next Monday, and I will return in 2 weeks. All right? Thanks, everybody. Good night.